father was like everything for me. And of course, father teach me like my religion, father teach me discipline, rules. Number one things, it was respect.
Raising boys to become real men has become difficult in our time. Here are 12 rules from Khabib and his father, Uncle Abdulmanap Nurmagomedov, on how to raise your son to be a real man. Khabib will also share something surprising near the end of his video. Rule 1. Who is teaching your son?
Our kids, they go to the school, they spend there like 8-9 hours. A lot of crazy people, they working in school too. And they give education to your kids. They spend with your kids 8 hours every day. If you not agree with these teachers on your life position, you have to control who teach your kids.
Do you spend 8 hours every day with your son? Of course not. His school teacher does. And when he grows up, he's much more likely to be like her than you. Is that what you want? If not, you need to choose who teaches your son. Khabib's father chose Coach Javier Mendez.
Javier Mendez, thank you, coach, for trust. Thank you, coach, for support, for being with me all my career. When I moved to US without my father, I need like some mentor like father. You become like almost like my father.
Rule 2. He must respect you and his teachers.
Father teach me like number one things, it was respect. You have to respect gym, you have to respect coaches, you have to respect your sparring partners. It was like all about respect.
Teach your son to accept and follow the guidance of those more experienced than him after you've chosen the right teachers and the right coaches. Teach him to adhere to reasonable boundaries, his and other people's. And most importantly, teach him to respect your authority and accept your guidance as his father. If he cannot do this, he will not learn from anybody. Does this mean he should fear you? Khabib's father says.
Все-таки, нужно ли бояться отца и зачем?
Я думаю, бояться не стоит отца. Надо отца слушаться. А чтобы слушал он нас и слушаться, должны быть разные методы воспитания.
Rule 3. Be an example worth respecting for your son.
Be an example. A lot of fathers, they just told their sons, don't go there, don't do this, be on this way. No, you have to be on good way and your son gonna follow you.
You have to be an example worth respecting, worth following. Otherwise, your son will just refuse to follow you. But what if you can't? Let's say you tell your son not to smoke, but you smoke. At least do it away from him. Even if he knows you smoke, he will respect that. And when you talk to him about it, tell him, son, I know what I'm doing is wrong and I wish I could stop. I don't want that for you. I want you to be better than me. He will respect you for that. Of course, it is superior for you to just be a good example. Khabib's father set a good example of how to handle pressure when everybody turns against you.
Постоянство и дисциплина.
А когда все против тебя?
Когда все становились против меня, мне становилось больше мотива, больше интереса работать.
Near the end of this video, Khabib will share something surprising that he does but does not want his children to do. Rule 4. Don't give your son too much freedom.
Because America, freedom, too much freedom.
Oh, wow.
It have to be always rules.
I understand.
Without rules, it's like even mixed martial arts, we do everything, but we have rules. You can do whatever you want, but don't bite. Doesn't matter where you're from, Russia or US. It have to be always rules.
If you give your son too much freedom, he will inevitably be enslaved by one of his appetites, like food or sex, or he'll be manipulated by someone or some ideology. Too much freedom for a young boy is dangerous, especially with the extreme temptations of our modern society. Temptations like pornography and video games. Young boys need guidance. Even adults need guidance to some extent. And what is guidance if not a limit on freedom? Freedom cannot be granted. It has to be earned through developing maturity and wisdom. Your son needs to earn his freedom. Give him only as much freedom as he has earned in wisdom.
I don't understand when a 15, 16-year-old kid disagrees with a 55-year-old experienced coach and says, maybe this is better. Can you imagine that? If I give advice, you need to do it like this. And when he grows up, we'll sit down and look at the advice that he proposed to me. On one hand, such strict measures almost never gave him a room for personal freedom. But on the other, the methods based on discipline brought Nurmagomedov Jr. to remarkable achievements.
Khabib's father gave his son freedom, but with limits and some important conditions.
У Хабиба было в 8-9 классе друзья. Когда мы оставались с ним одни, я тебе не запрещаю с ним ходить, но я тебя требую, чтобы ты пришел вовремя домой, отдохнуть, поесть, поспать, выучить на следующий день уроки. Вот что я тебе требую, и больше ничего.
Rule 5. Set his schedule so he knows exactly what to do.
All my life, I have schedule, you know. For me, it's all about numbers, you know. I have to do all things like on time. Like you have to wake up on like 6, 7, you have to train. After you come home, breakfast, go school, come back, do homework, train, come back, eat, sleep, repeat.
Humans are creatures of habit. You can either choose to develop your own habits, or you can allow corporations and governments and somebody else to decide for you. In our time, there are millions of things trying to grab your son's attention. Highly addictive video games, social media, all of them trying to get him to develop bad habits. Him knowing what he needs to do to get closer to his long-term goals will act as a first step in protecting him against these short-term appeals and keep him focused on achieving long-term success. How can he choose to do what is right if he doesn't know what that is? Make sure you leave some empty space in his schedule to allow some flexibility. Khabib knew exactly what his father wanted from him and for him.
I realize like his system, I understand what he wants from me. I understand like everything.
Now that your son knows what he needs to do, you need to make sure that he actually does it. Rule 6. Discipline. Make sure he follows his schedule.
Of course, I was following all his rules, but most of the time I was disagree with him. Maybe because of like different of age, or maybe I was like teenager, like.
At first, it will be up to you to make sure your son stays disciplined. But the goal is for him to develop self-discipline, as that's the key to getting anything done. Your boy is still too young to understand the wisdom behind your guidance. He must develop enough respect and trust in you to follow your advice, even if he disagrees with it. But what happens if he refuses? Should you beat your son?
Вы бы могли ударить сына? И при каких, может быть, обстоятельствах? Поясните.
Воспитывая Хабиба, я всегда весил в пределах от 82 до 100 килограмм, а разное время 20 лет. Но может, допустим, ребенка этого возраста профессиональный спортсмен ударить? Нет. Здравомыслящий человек? Нет. А так, то, что сказать ему, что я тебя ударю, если ты меня выведешь, нужно напоминать.
Of course you shouldn't beat him, but how will you get him to follow your guidance? Here's what Khabib's father did.
А чтоб слушал он нас и слушаться, должны быть разные методы воспитания. Точно соблюдал 5 методов воспитания. Это убеждение, личный пример, поощрение идет 3-м, требование 4-м и принуждение 5-м. Этих побуждений я решил использовать в разных вариантах вот этот момент. И я надал результат.
For more details on the 5 methods of discipline used by Khabib's father, check the video linked above. As your son grows up, he will begin to realize that the advice you give him is very helpful and that your insistence that he follows this advice was worth it. He'll begin to develop self-discipline and you'll find yourself getting closer to him at this point.
How old were you where you're kind of like, you know what, a lot of this stuff my dad's been telling me has been right?
When I become like 15, 16, I become like very close with father. I realize like his system, I understand what he wants from me. I understand like everything and we become like very close.
He will slowly internalize your imposed discipline and turn it into self-discipline and self-control. You could speed up this process by using the next rule. Rule 7. Self-discipline. Connect hard work to success and then success to reward.
If you're not gonna stop train like you train now, if you're gonna still focus, I don't think somebody can stop it. I think you can become world champion, just you have to be focused. Not only just he say, I truly believe this too.
Khabib's father highlighted the connection between becoming champion and continued hard work. Do this for your son and he'll internalize his work ethic. Knowing the potential success that he can achieve with hard work will pull him to work even harder, without the need for you to push him to keep him disciplined. To make this even better, connect success to reward.
Там есть эпизод, в котором вы описываете, как вы давали Хабибу за хорошие оценки деньги.
Да.
Да?
Он закончил 6 класс, и летнее время были, вот скажем, репетиторы. И занял 1 место. Когда он выиграл конкурс, дал приличную сумму, чтобы он потратил и на братьев, и на сестер, и на родственников там. Это за твой труд, за твой талант, который ты добился за эти 3 месяца. Я говорю, это очень ощутимо. И для меня, и для родственников я дал ему этих денег. Говорит, отец, ты никогда не давал мне столько денег. Ну, ты не делал такого успеха никогда. И он задумался.
Khabib's father clearly connected success to a financial reward in this example. The reward does not have to be money. It can be status or praise or approval or any kind of reward. Money in this situation has an advantage, however, because you can make the reward as big or as small as you want it. And it opens up the opportunity to teach your son how to relate to money properly. Constantly connecting hard work to success and success to reward in your son's mind will help him internalize discipline. It'll help him become more self-motivated and self-disciplined. However, it is very important that he experiences the connection and not just have them explained to him. Next, teach him how to handle failure. Rule 8, resilience. Teach him to lose and come back stronger.
Nurmagomedov Sr. intentionally put his son to compete in different wrestling tournaments where he lost on a regular basis. And here's how a former champion remembers those times in an interview to the local media. Khabib, father, you always did everything the right way. Now I hate losing. I was fed up with that in my childhood. That's why I always win.
Coach your son through failure early in life so he can learn 2 lessons. First, success is achieved through failing, learning, and then trying again. But trying again smarter, trying again better, trying again harder. Second, he needs to know the level of competition he's going to face. There are many people out there working hard, and they will compete with your son in every arena of life, from sports to relationships to work to business. Knowing this, your son will voluntarily work harder.
I was compete everywhere. I remember when I grew up, father make me compete like freestyle wrestling, Greco-Roman, pancration, grappling, amateur MMA, combat sambo. Even he make me like wrestle with the bears. This is how he teach me, because he always tell me, when you're gonna go to big arena, you can handle any pressure, but right now you have to work hard.
Once your son has become resilient and can handle failure, increase his workload to push him to new heights. He may even demand it. Rule 9. Turn up the heat to build more strength. He will want it.
So he was talk too much.
You're talking about Conor.
Like, yes, I talk about Conor, yeah. And it was like very big fight and big pressure on me. And when I was talk with my father, and he told me, diamonds making under big pressure. If you can handle this pressure, you're gonna become diamond. But if you lose, you're gonna be loser. Just be careful. You have to understand what you want. When time comes, you have to shine.
Pressure and hardship makes people stronger, provided it doesn't break them. Your son is now strong, and he's ready to withstand more pressure so he can get even stronger. Give him that opportunity. Just like your muscles, when they're stressed, they get stronger. Your mind, your intellect, gets also stronger with progressively increasing challenges. When your son is under this kind of pressure, you will feel a strong fatherly instinct to protect and shelter him. But control yourself. For his own sake, you need him to struggle so he can get stronger. Only intervene if it's absolutely necessary.
А вы считаете, что вы строгий к нему на самом-то деле?
Я всегда был строг к ученикам, именно в таких ситуациях, когда они высший результат, он стоит нервов, он стоит крови, он стоит всего, но надо держаться.
А как думаете, ему тяжелее с вами или вам тяжело с ним?
Мне тяжело.
Notice how hard it was for Khabib's father to watch his son under a lot of stress. This is because he has to control his fatherly instinct for the sake of his own son's success. This is one way fathers show love. Rule 10. Show your love. Don't say it.
Our culture is like, it's very hard to hear from father, oh, I love you. We show our kids, we love you. It's like, I talk about when I was like 15, 16. Of course, when I was like baby, he said to me, it's a lot.
Fathers show their love. They don't say it. When a father wakes up at 5 a.m. in the morning and works 12 hours every day, no matter how tired or sick, to provide for his family, he is showing love. When a father puts himself in danger to protect his family, he is showing love. Khabib's father told his son, I will provide for you. I will give you everything. You don't need to work. You can focus on your athletic aspirations. That is a father's love. The soft, affectionate love should come from his mother. Fathers also show love by setting boundaries that protect and guide their children. It is the job of the grandparents to spoil the grandchildren, but fathers must oppress their instinct to do that for the sake of their children.
Abdul Manap, is Khabib more of a son to you or an athlete? He took some time to think, raised his eyes and said, I had to repress fatherhood within myself in the gym so he could become a good athlete. I saw the desire in him and couldn't betray him even for the sake of father's love. I have to push him as much, if not more than I do everyone else.
To do all these things requires your presence. Spend time with your boy. Rule 11. Spend time with your son, not just money.
Father was like everything for me. All my life I spent time with him. Even when we was on training camp, at home, at the gym, like everywhere, I was with my father.
Fathers often spend all their time working hard to earn money to offer opportunities and resources to their families. And although that is noble, it is better to earn a little less money and spend more time with your son. He needs you there. And the impact that will have on his life is going to be far greater than a little less money. Spend time with the boy. There is no substitute for you. Rule 12. Teach your son how to fight, but not to fight.
I don't know what my son gonna choose, but he have no choice about one thing. He's a man and he's gonna train. You have to be strong. I remember like father told me like you cannot fight in street because I teach you all life how to become world champion, and when you become 18, 19, when you can hurt people, you have to control yourself.
The goal of learning how to fight is not to go pick fights, but it is to develop the attributes we've been talking about in this video up to this point. What happens when your son learns how to fight? First, you choose a gym for him. You choose the right coaches. Second, when he goes to the gym, he learns how to respect his coaches, because if he doesn't, he won't be allowed in the gym. He learns how to respect the boundaries of his colleagues. He learns about scheduling. Gyms and workouts are often routine-based and they're structured that way. He will also learn about discipline, because he has to show up to the gym at a specific time. He has to follow the rules of the gym, follow a schedule. He'll also learn self-control, because while he's sparring with other people, so play fighting, right, or practice fighting, he can't fight too hard or fight too soft. So he'll learn to balance that. He'll learn to control himself. As he trains, he will notice his body getting stronger and better, and he'll connect the hard work he's putting at the gym with these improvements or that success. He will also develop resilience, because there will always be somebody at the gym that can beat him. And if you've chosen the right coaches, they will teach him how to learn from those failures and bounce back better and stronger. He will also learn to be under high pressure. The training itself was a lot of pressure, but when you're sparring or practice fighting with somebody, it is a high pressure situation. Sparring also helps him develop focus, because if you're practice fighting with somebody and you lose your focus, you'll be quickly reminded by either a punch or a kick or a throw. And that kind of focus translates very well to other areas of life. So he'll become better at studying, for example. All these skills are needed in most areas of life. In business, in social and family relationships, or at work. You can choose to help your son develop these skills in some other way, as long as you make sure it is embodied or physically expressed, because no amount of explaining can replace a physical experience. Finally, here's the surprising thing that Khabib does, but does not want his children to do.
Me, I don't want my kids doing like martial arts.
Okay.
Maybe they're gonna do some Olympic sports, but mixed martial arts, like they was like punching, knees, elbow, face, they punch your face. Honestly, I want my kids stay away, but they're gonna train for sure.